Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryetu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha. Shrutismrutipurananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavadpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badharayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanusanthadami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Tunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sankapadakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Dadgatena Manasam Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyam Tanna Vidusudha Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Om. Namaste once again, everyone. Yogastha kuru karmani sangantyatva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So we are discussing the first definition of karma yoga, which Krishna expounds in this sloka as samatvam yoga uchyate. And we were discussing about that. And then what happened in the last class was, in the satsang held after the class, the age-old topic of destiny versus free will again cropped up. And to me, it appeared that some students are still not convinced that free will is actually free and not driven by destiny. Maybe they are convinced, they're not convinced, but I should say, how would I put it? They feel that that is a correct view which has been taken by the Shastra and also by the Acharyas, but that is, they're not convinced about it. There seems to be a view still prevailing that the exercise of free will is also guided by destiny. I therefore thought that before we continue with our teaching in the above sloka I just now chanted, I will deal with this topic in some more detail, even though I felt that I had actually explained enough about this topic, but let us see from a different perspectives about this topic. Okay. So I thought that first of all, we all need to have a correct understanding of some definitions. When we say destiny, according to me, what we mean is our past karmas, that is punya and papa, earned in the previous births. Is that correct? Am I correct in defining destiny like this? Or is there some other understanding of destiny among some of you? If so, please state so right now.
Raghuji, many people think that it is what is going to happen afterward. It is already predestined and we are going to have that what is already written. It
Correct,
is
but
not
written
something
on the
going
basis of what?
that they don't say. They say this
That's
is
what I'm
what
saying.
is written.
My understanding is our past karmas is what we mean by destiny. That is the punya papas which we have earned in the previous births. They are responsible for whatever happens to us in this birth. That is my definition of destiny. I want to know whether, because there's no point in my dealing with this topic of destiny versus free will, if there is no basic understanding amongst all of us of what we mean by this term destiny. So if anybody has got any different understanding, please speak up. Well, there has got to be some basis on which you say destiny, right? And everybody's destiny is not the same. My destiny is different than somebody else's destiny, and so third, but everybody's destiny, like the what they call the finger, the lines in the fingers are different, and that is according to me decided by the past karmas, which we call punya papa. Is that clear? Well, if it is that is itself, there is a disagreement, then we cannot go forward at all. So I want to know whether that is clear and everybody agrees that this is what we mean by destiny.
Yeah, understood.
Sitaram and also Premaji, are you okay with this definition? Because these are the two people who had doubt in the last satsanga. Premaji, are you okay with this definition of past karma being destiny? What happened? She's silent or she's not able to unmute herself?
She doesn't seem to be there.
No, Guruji. I didn't understand the question. I didn't quite process it. What is the question?
Question is, when you say destiny,
yes,
or fate, my understanding is that fate or destiny refers to our past karmas, our past punya papas, which determine the course of our life during the present janma. Is that definition is what you have got in your mind, or is there any other definition?
In my mind, it's partially the answer. The other portion is the adrishta phalam of it's the same half of what you're saying. One gives adrishta phalam because of what we have done before. So we have to calculate both. It's not
what
that
is the other one? When we say
the other one is we are the cause of our own distress. Yes.
We are the cause of our own, correct? That you agree. So
correct.
Whatever we are saying is what we are talking about, destiny is only adrishta phalam of the past punya papas, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Whenever, because punya and papa are only adrishtam. You can't see punya and papa.
No.
Whenever we do any action, there are two results we get. One is a drishta phalam, the immediate result of that action. And
correct.
Another is adrishta phalam, which may either be punya or papa.
Okay.
Correct? So this punya and papa as adrishta phalam is what we actually define as destiny or fate. Which is
Guruji, what happens to people who don't believe in reincarnation?
We are not talking about that, because those people, first you have to talk first reincarnation. If you don't have belief in the constitution of India, then what can you talk about constitution with those people? So I am
so
not
the foundation,
addressing.
There is no foundation even.
There is no foundation at all.
Oh.
So that is, we are not concerned about those people, right? From our point of view, we know that even not having faith in punya papa is a part of their past karmas. Correct.
So I think we agree.
Yeah, so we agree. That's the first point. So we agree on the definition of punya and papa being the destiny. Correct.
Yes, yes.
Now, if this definition of destiny is clear and accepted, then the question arises, how did this destiny arise in the first place? That is, how did it come about? So I hope we are all in agreement that the punya papa that we talk about is the adrishta phala of the karma or actions that we have done in our past births. This much is clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Good. Now, let us take a hypothetical situation.
Okay.
A jiva is born as a human being for the first time. Okay? First time jiva takes birth as a human being. This is purely a hypothetical situation. Okay? As per the Shastra, the origin of a jiva is anadi, beginningless. Nobody knows when the jiva, took birth, or when the whole process this started, nobody knows. But let us assume, for the sake of argument or analyzing this, assume that jiva is born as a human being for the first time.
Okay.
So when the human being is born for the first time, will that human being have any past karma or punya papa?
Technically should not have.
Should not have, isn't it? Answer
Should not
should
have.
be no, because this is his or her first birth as a human being, and punya and papa can be earned only in a human birth, right?
Correct.
And now he or she starts with a zero
Zero
balance
Clean
of
slate.
punya papa.
Okay,
Right?
clean slate.
Clean slate. Now, in this birth, that person does a number of actions, both dharmic and adharmic, right?
Yes.
If so, will those actions be based on free will or destiny?
It'll be free will.
Correct? Because there is no destiny, there is no past karmas. It has got to be free will only, right? So there is no destiny or
Guruji, I
past
have a
karma.
doubt. Guruji, I have a doubt. See, the Shastra says it is in him the manifested Adya, Anda, and middle.
Can't hear you,
Madhyam.
Hari.
So it
What is the point
manifest-
you want to make?
Huh?
What is the point you are
my
making?
My point here is, when you are talking about after pralaya, when we
I never
it is
talked
coming.
about pralaya. Listen, Hariji, please listen. Be with the class. Listen to carefully what I am saying, because we can go
Yes.
on this. There is no pralaya I talked about. I am taking a hypothetical situation. I also clarified that this, as per Shastra, this situation is not tenable because the jiva is anadi. But here we are considering a hypothetical situation only.
Okay.
And on that basis, that I am
Okay.
saying that let us assume a human being is born for the first time.
Okay.
And then he does not have any past karmas.
Okay.
But in that human birth, he does lot of actions,
Yes.
both dharmic and adharmic.
Okay.
Because there is no past karma or punya papa to determine those actions,
Yeah.
those actions will have to be guided by the free will only
Okay.
and nothing else. Are you in agreement with up to this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, using his free will, his free will, these actions are done. And the invisible result or the adrishta phala of these actions, which that human being does, results in punya or papa, as the case may be. Correct?
Yeah.
Therefore, the cause for what we call destiny itself is the action done by the human being with free will. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, the logic is there.
Logic is there.
Yeah.
Because it has got whatever action you do with free will, only those actions result in punya and papa. Because I will explain why that is so. So what happens is that individual who has earned this punya and papa because of his actions, his or her actions, will exhaust some part of punya or papa in that life itself, in the same birth. And then the unexhausted part of the karma or punya papa will be carried forward to the future births.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And this saga of doing action using free will, earning karma, exhausting a part of it, carrying forward the balance, continues birth after birth.
Yes.
Correct?
Right.
Now the question is, why should actions give rise to karma or punya papa for human beings alone and not for other animals? Right?
Yeah.
The answer is that only human beings have got an ego, the sense of I-ness, the sense of doership. Therefore, the result of any action done with a kartrutva bhava acquires the human being. I am the doer. When I do an action, what is my attitude? I am doing this action. So the moment you actually attribute the responsibility of that action to myself, then I will also have to take the results of that action, whether it is good or bad, especially the adrishta results, invisible results, right?
Yeah.
Because the visible result of that action, naturally I will enjoy, isn't it?
Yes.
Therefore, I should also be responsible to take the invisible result also. Therefore, it is the ego which drives the free will, because a human being has a choice to do an action, not to do that action, or do it differently. This choice is always there with all of us, right?
Yes.
Suppose we feel hungry. We have a choice to eat. We have a choice not to eat. Or we have got a choice to take some juice or some salad and all that and temporarily, satisfy our hunger. This choice is there with us. Therefore, based on what he chooses, he gets the result both visible and invisible. This much is okay? Is the logic being followed right now?
Yeah. Perfect.
Now, this karma, which is what we call punya papa, keeps accruing to the individual's account and can be exhausted only by experiencing their results, either in this birth or in future births. So in every birth, as a jiva, whether human, animal, or plant, a part of this karma gets exhausted. And this is what we call prarabdha karma. And this prarabdha karma kicks in the moment birth takes place. The moment the seed sprouts in a plant, prarabdha karma has started. In fact, even before that, the seed itself is determined by whether it is a mango seed, whether it is a grape seed, or whether it is any other fruit seed, or it is just a seed which does not bear any fruits, just a tree which gives shade, of course, no doubt. All this is determined with the prarabdha karma, by prarabdha karma only, and that stops when the life begins, the jiva's life begins in this birth. And again, a part of that, in case of human beings, they will keep on earning these karmas by exercising their free will, which is driven by their ego, and fresh punya papas will be collected. Those fresh punya papas are what we call agami karmas. And again, those agami karmas will be exhausted in part. Balance will go, to the sanchita karma, which will be carried forward to the next birth. And out of that, the bundle of sanchita karmas, another set of prarabdha karmas will mature, and that another birth will take place. And if it happens to be a human birth, again, exercise of free will, driven by ego, earning of punya papa, and this cycle, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, continues. Up to this, it is clear.
Right.
Any dispute can be raised right now, about, on what I have told you till now.
Yeah.
Guruji, Satya here. I just have not it as a dispute, just just my thought. So I think the reason why humans have all the papa and punya is also because that we have something called a differentiating power, right? For example, if there is a lion, it does not know to differentiate between eating a vegetable and eating a goat, because it does not
Correct.
know that that will suffer pain. From what it has learned from his from its ancestors, or from what it is seeing from its herd, it just knows that it has to kill that, and that is the only way to kind of replenish its hunger. So
Correct.
but
You're
we
right.
have the decision power, and that
Yeah.
leads to the whole karma, because the free will is also attached to our ego as well as our decision making power, and
Correct.
that influences the whole path from where it has started, and all of us suffering still.
Absolutely. You are absolutely right in your understanding. But I didn't touch upon that because here the question was only whether it is free will. Free will is driven by own free will, or it is driven by past karma. That was the question
Right.
which I am addressing, right?
Right.
But what you are saying, by animals are all pre-programmed. They have no
Right.
ego, no free will. They cannot do anything on their own, right?
Beaten
They
path.
are beaten path. They are driven by their see, the birth is because of their past karma, but how they live, it's all pre-programmed. It is all you can say, if it is a snake, it will behave in a certain way. It cannot behave in a different way. A snake cannot choose when provoked to bite, not to bite, or to bite differently.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas a human being can do. When you are provoked by your spouse, you can choose either to give it back with the same force, or to remain silent, or to do it differently, like trying to make the other person understand that other person's view is not correct, etc. This freedom human being has got, and that is what is free will. And you are right in saying that this is based on exercise of free will also determines how the viveka shakti is there, vairagya is there. On that basis, the free will is exercised. But here I'm just addressing the question whether there is a free will or not, right?
Guruji, I have two questions. I'm not sure whether this is the right moment to ask.
Ask me.
Okay, so first question is that, so all the planetary positions, and if you follow astrology, all the planetary positions, they influence at what time in our life we should be experiencing all our past karmas, right? For example, we have Sani Peyachi, Elder Sani, all of these, Guruji. So that determines at what point in our life we'll be experiencing those bad karmas. So when the first birth as a human starts, technically they don't have any background of having karmas. So those planets will also not influence the karmas. They won't have influence on that person, right?
See, as I told you, when we say first birth of a human being, or human being being born for the first time, as per Shastra, there is no such thing. Nobody knows when the human being was first born.
Anadi.
Anadi. So here we are only discussing an hypothetical situation in order to find an answer whether free will is really free or whether it is totally guided by destiny, and that I cannot do anything in my life. It's all predetermined. Even when I exercise my free will, it is that the exercise of free will is also driven by destiny. Whether that is true or not is what we are engaging. We are discussing. So what I'm saying is, to answer your question very simply, the planetary positions which an individual sees in the horoscopes, they are what? They are nothing but representation of what punya papa that the individual has got in his karmas.
Correct, Guruji.
When you talk of Shani Payarchi, Guru Payarchi and all that, you will find that these are all generally done for some celebrations. But Shani Payarchi will not affect all the human beings in the same way.
Yes, Guruji. Correct.
Shani Payarchi will only affect those people who have got a problem with Shani Bhagavan in their horoscope.
Correct, Guruji.
Guruji, I have a question.
Yeah.
That is, hypothetically, we are now considering that this is my first birth.
Yeah.
What determines that I am born as a handicap, or I am born in a rich family or a poor family?
Arisi, I told you it's a hypothetical situation, so such.
Yeah,
questions-
I'm coming that only as an
See,
hypothetically, this is my first birth.
so nothing. You will be born as a proper human being because you do not have any past.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
I thought
Okay,
that
okay.
we need not explain to that simple. It's very simple.
No. Okay, fine, fair enough. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Right. So
Hmm.
we can come to the conclusion that all rebirth of a jiva.
Yeah.
No, before that, I think there is one more question. I will raise the question and answer. So the question is, now we have seen that there are two things. One is the karmas, which is past punya papas, and the other
Yeah.
is destiny. These are two things. Sorry, punya papa's destiny or free will. These are the two things that we have got. So now we have to understand these punya papas, these past karmas, what all do they determine? What is their role in our life? I think Hariji, the answer to your question is coming now. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So first of all, as I said, the rebirth of a jiva happens because of the nature and quality of the past karma. Therefore, the destiny drives what kind of a birth, human, animal, plant, that a jiva will have in this birth. That is the first role. It is also responsible for determining whether it is going to be a normal birth of a healthy baby or a baby born with some challenges. Especially in the case of human beings, it is the destiny also which decides in which geography and culture the jiva will be born, what kind of parents the jiva will get, and to a large extent, what kind of life that the jiva will lead for the first few years of the life till the ego develops. Normally, we reckon this in our culture as a period of 5 years. And that is why it is said that any action done by a child up to the age of 5 years does not result in any punya papa. Because the child has got no ego. Up to say 5 years. 5 years is a rough, that is what we have adopted. It could be 6 years in some case, 4 years in another case and all that. 5 years average we have taken. So the ego starts developing only after that. Till such time, the child is also driven by its instincts only. The child does not have even free will at that time. Because if it is hungry, it cannot go and take some milk bottle and drink it. It will only cry. And crying, being hungry is instinctive. So somebody will have to feed the child. And it is for the same reason that the action done by animals also do not accrue any punya papa. For example, the child is there at night, it kicks the mother and father, when sleeping. Kicking somebody is a papa karma, but the child will not get any papa karma because it does not know what he is doing. It's not doing it out of free will. But once the ego develops in the human child, then the sense of doership arises, and this gives rise to free will, which leads to making choices in doing an action. Right? Further, in the present life of a jiva, the past punyas of the jiva present the jiva with the situations which can lead to joy or happiness, and the papa karmas, adrishtaphala as papa, will present the jiva with situation which leads to grief or sorrow. Now, here is a point to be very important to be noted. So the point I am making is, what we call destiny, what we call as the result of the past punya papas, is nothing more than presenting the jiva with certain situations which can either lead to joy or happiness, or certain situations which can lead the jiva to situations of grief and sorrow. The role of destiny is only that, presenting the jiva in this life with these two types of situations. But unlike animals, because this is presented to the animals also, the animals, it is possible that the past karmas present them with a situation where they can easily hunt for their food, get water in a nearby place where they are staying, and they can lead a happy life. Whereas the papa karmas may lead to a situation where they don't get food for 3 days and there is no water, and in fact they can even fall prey to other animals. But unlike animals, the human being has a choice using his free will to respond, to calibrate his response to these situations. If he or she does nothing in terms of response, the destiny will govern whether he or she becomes happy or gets sad experiences. But the person has got a free will to change the result of the situation presented by destiny by, as I said, calibrating his or her response to the situations. Since the destiny has no control over the exercise of free will, the jiva has the capacity to some extent to change the destiny. And we have seen.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that sentence?
Since destiny has no control over the exercise of free will, destiny does not determine how you can exercise your free will. The jiva has the capacity to some extent to change the destiny. And that is why, as we keep discussing, prayers, karma yoga, karmas done with nishkama bhava, all these things a jiva can use as instruments in order to, if it is a punya karma result, to enhance the effect of the punya karma, or if it is papa karma result, to mitigate the result of the papa karma, effect of the papa karma. That a human being can do using his free will. And we have got numerous examples. For example, a person is born in a very economically challenged family. The parents are poor. Even everything, getting food, shelter, clothes are a challenge. And the birth is determined by what? Past karmas. Right? So all this very poverty-ridden family, this person is born. Now this person has got two choices. One, accept his poverty as destiny and continue to suffer, or do something to change his situation and the situation of his family, which will at the least remove the unhappy experience of the poverty. Therefore, this person has got a choice to use his free will and undertake some actions like studying diligently, working hard, earning money to support his family, etc., which has the power to change the unhappy experience to a happy experience. And there are, if you actually look around, look at the study the biographies of so many great people, you will find that there are innumerable examples of such kind, where people are born in a very challenged circumstances, economically challenged circumstances. Forget economically challenged. A child is born because of past karma with certain physical challenges. Have we not seen some of those children attain great heights and great accomplishments by developing certain skills which they are able to actually manage their incapacities, and in fact rise above other normal human beings, average human beings in their accomplishments? How did they do all that? It is not destiny, but it is because of their free will. Therefore, we have to understand that the destiny was responsible up to a certain point in presenting a situation. But the person using his free will can respond to the situation and engage in actions which will change the nature of experience which the destiny has presented. But then the question is this possible in all cases? The answer is no. It depends upon the relative strengths of the destiny and the relative strength of the free will. And that is because destiny can also act as an obstacle for achieving the results of action using free will. And that is why, in fact, we discussed this one earlier class also, on the occasion of when Swami Omkarananda ji attained Samadhi. There was a question. We all prayed for him. Why did those prayers not take effect and save Swami Omkarananda ji's life? And that time also I gave that answer, same answer. If the destiny is stronger than all the prayer, effect of all the prayers or result of all the prayers made using one's free will, the destiny will act as an obstacle for giving the results of the free will, and it will be governed by the destiny of that particular person. Therefore, for all of us, our daily life is a constant battle between destiny and free will. Sometimes destiny wins, sometimes free will wins. But we must remember, as spiritual seekers, the free will has got the power to change our future. Maybe present destiny, what we are talking about is our past action. But just imagine, you can design your destiny for your next birth by doing all dharmic actions and earning a lot more punya in this life, increasing the stock of punya, and so you can change your future destiny. And for that, you exercise your free will now. But if we consider that free will is also exercised under the influence of destiny, then the ego doesn't come into play at all. And once the ego doesn't come into play, there is no kartritva bhava, there is no doership. And if there is no doership, there will be no punya and papa accruing to the jiva for his actions. First of all, this kind of a situation will militate against the law of karma. The law of karma has got no meaning at all, no It doesn't serve any purpose at all. And also it militates against the entire Shastric teachings. If you don't have any punya papa, because everything is destiny, that means this is your last birth. Till now, whatever is there. In this birth, you are not going to use any punya papa. Maybe if there are carry forward punya papa, it go to the next birth. But next birth also, you cannot exercise free will. Like that, it will go on. Then all this concept about moksha, jnanam, all these things will not make any sense. So since it will militate against all the teachings of the Shastras, we can conclude that destiny does not govern free will. If at all it does, it can only act as if it is very strong, it can act as an obstacle for getting the results of actions done with using free will. Therefore, it is by the exercise of free will alone that one can decide one's own destiny. You can decide what you want to be in future. And here I wanted to highlight one more issue about the law of karma. In the case of human beings, since a jnani or a mahatma substantially dilutes his ego and thereby gives up his free will voluntarily. So, in that case of the jnani, after getting jnanam, the remaining life is governed only by his prarabdha karma, and that is why he will have no rebirth. Because at the time of gaining jnanam, all his sanchita karma is completely gone, and his agami karma also earned during this birth is also gone. And since the future actions for the remaining period of his life the jnani will be doing will be not based upon ego or free will, he will not earn any punya or papa during that time. That means at the time that the jnani's body falls, he will have no karma balance. And that is why Shastra says that the jnani will have no rebirth. So both destiny and free will becomes irrelevant for a jnani. Therefore, my conclusion is, it is the free will which determines the destiny and not otherwise. That is the one sentence conclusion I have come to. Now, if there are still some questions, what I suggest is we will deal with them in the satsang after the class, because I want to cover at least some portion of the teaching also. Okay.
This is one of the most important topics.
It's an important topic. So if you are
not
still
very important, it is not simply important. It is probably one of the most important.
That is the reason, Ariji, I took it up to clarify that in this class.
I thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
But still, if you have got any question, please note it down. After the class is over in another 15 minutes, we will discuss this further. Let me just, not miss the class. We will just see a little bit of the shloka that we were seeing.
Thank
okay?
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. So, Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samho bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So here, as I said, Bhagavan Krishna is addressing Arjuna, advising him, abiding steadfast in yoga. Arjuna, perform actions, abandoning all attachments, being or remaining the same with reference to success and failure of your actions. This evenness of mind is called yoga. And as I said, this is the first definition of karma yoga given by Bhagavan Krishna. The second definition he will give in the 49th sloka, which we will see when we come to that. So, as we were discussing in the context of the shloka karmanyevadikaraste, we have understood that we have choice only in action and no choice or control over the results of our action. And this is important to have sameness of response to what results our actions bring in. And this is a very simple, this is simply an empirical and pragmatic attitude. We are merely the cause of the action, the author of the karma, and not the result thereof. So when that is the case, samatva bhava towards the result is the most appropriate thing to do. But this does not make it karma yoga, because equanimity towards the results of our action can be practiced by any pragmatic person and an objective person. We can say that this is simple samatva. And also, this does not guarantee that the results of the actions are fair and just. Because if we don't have samatva, and we find that the results are not commensurate with the intensity with which I did the action, there is still scope for blaming Ishvara, blaming the God, being unfair, unjust, biased towards me. All that, there is a scope for that. Therefore, we cannot stop here taking samatva yoga yuchyate, samatva bhava as a karma yoga. We have to go one step ahead. And what is that? Practicing samatva bhava as karma yoga requires the recognition of Ishvara. Because if we say that the result of our action is not within our control, then logically there must be someone who takes care of the results. Because without the interference of an intelligent entity, the results cannot be produced on its own. No doubt, the results, as we discussed just now, are produced by the past punya and papas. But which punya and papa are maturing to give us the prarabdha karma for this life, that punya and papa cannot decide on their own. There has got to be an intelligent being going through the entire file of ours, punya papa files, and find out which are these karmas which are maturing, and bundle them together. Okay, these karmas are maturing, and as per the law of karma, these karmas can result in a human birth. Bang, a human being is born. So some intelligent entity has to do this job. We have to recognize that entity. But we will need to be reassured that that entity is not biased or prejudiced towards certain individuals, and that the results are handed over to all in a fair and equitable manner. Therefore, for that, we have to connect with that entity, understand that entity, get convinced about that entity's fairness to practice samatvam as karma yoga. And as I said, when we say the results of punya papa are given to us, is that process arbitrary? No. We say that there is an entity which determines that results. Now the entity has got to have some basis for determining those results, which is commonly applicable to all the people, isn't it? So that fairness, justice is maintained. What is that system? What is that entity uses? Is nothing but a system of law and order, which is a combination of the law of karma and the physical, psychological, biological, etc., all other laws governing the cosmic order, what we call the cosmic order. And this combination, the law of karma and the cosmic order combination, is what we call Ishvara. We just give a name, Ishvara, to that. Therefore, Samatvam as Karma Yoga requires the recognition of the law of karma and also a good understanding of the functioning of the cosmic order in order to be convinced about the fairness and justice in the dispensation of the results. While the cosmic order is irrefutable, common to all, we don't need to be convinced about it. As Puja Swamiji says, if you go and rub your back against the rough bark of a tree, your back will get bruised. Whether you are a human, whether you are animal, whether you are an Indian, whether you are an American, whether you are a male, whether you are a female, that is the law. You rub your back against a rough surface, your back will get bruised. That is the law. That's the order of the cosmic. That is within the cosmic order. So cosmic order is irrefutable, applicable to all, and the law of karma acts based upon the individual's past karmas, which will vary from individual to individual. Therefore, the results of one's action are a combination of the cosmic order applicable to all and the personalized past karma specific to the individual. Therefore, to meaningfully practice Samatvam as Karma Yoga, we need to understand and assimilate this fact. Very important aspect which differentiates karma from Karma Yoga. For doing an ordinary karma, you did not go into all these things. You did not go into Ishvara. But when you come to Karma Yoga, you have to understand Ishvara, and which is nothing but combination of the cosmic order and your own past karmas. But then, since my knowledge of the law of karma and the cosmic order is very limited, I can only go by the known laws, which laws are not authored by me. Then the question is, who authored these laws? But I find that these laws are operating and no given person can be considered to be author of them. So therefore, to recognize that author, I have to take one more step. What is that? First, I must recognize that the author of the laws produces the results of action and that the laws themselves do not produce the results. It is like a trial in a court. Suppose a person commits a crime and is brought to justice before a judge. Even though the criminal laws of the land explicitly state what punishment should be awarded for the specific crime committed, we still need a judge to pronounce the punishment. The judge himself may or may not be the author of the law, but nevertheless, a judge is required. In olden days, it was the king who used to make the laws and also preside over the trial of the people, who fell foul with the law. Similarly, here also, when you go one step further and recognize the author of the law of karma and the cosmic order as Ishvara, the Lord, the Supreme, you have the beginnings of Karma Yoga. Of course, there are still more steps to go, which we will see in the future classes, because all of this second chapter and the rest of second chapter, third chapter, all, and even in sixth chapter, Bhagavan deals with Karma Yoga. And thereby, we can realize the importance of Karma Yoga as the initial phase, initial sadhana, the initial attitude with which a spiritual seeker should set out in his journey of spirituality. So therefore, this creation is not created by me. There has got to be a creator. That creator we call Ishvara. And the same Ishvara is also given the law of karma, and therefore he is also the giver of the results of action. So we have to understand this very well. So instead of always talking, how the actions are produced, or results of actions are produced, oh, there is a cosmic order, there is a law of karma and all that, we simply say Ishvara is karma phala data. He is the one who gives the giver of results of action. Like we say, it is the just judge in the court who actually gives the verdict, what punishment the criminal, or even if it is a civil case also, what should be the final judgment of the dispute. It's like, you receive money from someone month after month. This is the example Puja Swamiji quotes. The postman is the one who actually gives you the money. But that does not mean that the postman is a benevolent person who goes about distributing money to everyone like Santa Claus. There is someone other than the postman to be thanked. Similarly, the karma phala, the result, is produced by the law. And the law itself is produced by another intelligent being. That all intelligent being, Brahman, is called Ishvara, the Lord, with reference to the creation. He is the overlord, in fact, the top man, the boss. And he is not limited by time, space, or anything. And the scriptural authority for all this is found in the Vedas, which outlines the process of creation, starting with Brahman. It says, Brahman is the nimitta karana, the intelligent cause of this creation, and this Maya is the upadana karana, the material cause. So the combination of Brahman and Maya is what we refer to as Ishvara. He has created this Jagat. Therefore, Ishvara is not only the maker of the results of our action, but also the very law, the very result of our action, in fact. So we need not go beyond this point for a discussion on Karma Yoga, because then it will go on and on and on, and we will never come back to the sloka. But we will see all that. When the Karma Yoga is a huge topic in Bhagavad Gita, we will deal with it in full detail. Therefore, in conclusion, we say that Ishvara is the maker of the law, that the laws are not separate from him. The results of action coming as they do from the laws, they are not separate from Ishvara, the Lord. It is this recognition of Ishvara that converts a simple samatva to the samatvam as Karma Yoga, which Bhagavan Krishna talks about in this shloka. Because without Ishvara, what we have been discussing is nothing more than a pragmatic approach to life. But in Karma Yoga, you must remember, we are dealing with a purely religious approach, which is entirely different because it recognizes Ishvara, the Lord, as the giver of the results of action, as the karma phala data, and oneself as only the doer of action, the karma karta. Therefore, to be a karma yogi, one has to accept Ishvara. So we'll stop here today and continue in the next class. I will say the prayers, and if there are still questions, we will have a satsang. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hari Om. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Sitaram, you are raising your finger.
Yes. If I understood it correctly, or if I imbibed it correctly,
Uh,
destiny is fixed for everybody based on their past karmas and the present agami karma. What they carry forward is prarabdha karma. So the free will comes in to mitigate or change the pluses or the minus of the destiny.
right.
Whether we succeed or not is fixed by the destiny.
No. Whether we proceed or not, destiny is only
not
presenting.
proceed. Whether we succeed or not.
Succeed or not, yeah, it is again governed partly by the destiny. Correct.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Whether we succeed or not,
Yeah.
is where the karmanyava comes in. Don't be
Exactly.
equanimity, have a samatva bhava for the failure or the success,
Correct.
and accept them as Ishvara Prasada.
Exactly. I'll come to Ishvara Prasada, all that in the next class, because I have not finished that Samatva Bhava till now. We have to see again what is it that, driving this destiny. So there are more aspects to this, which I'll deal with it in the next class.
Okay.
So we will do that. But your understanding is correct. Destiny can, to some extent, affect the result of actions exercised by free will. If the destiny is very strong, you may do anything used with your free will, it will not give any result. That we have seen happening in so many cases, right? It happens rather because the destiny is very strong. But how will we know destiny is strong or not? Only by exercising our free will and see whether we succeed or not. And what happens also is a very great stress reliever. You know what? Suppose we do a lot of action, but we are not getting the results of our action. Simply accepting that as Ishvara Prasada, that I did all that I could do, but I could not get what I wanted. I will accept it, and then I will not have any tension about it, any stress about it. That is a very great stress reliever. This attitude itself is a great stress reliever. Otherwise, I have seen people, oh, I did everything. Why did it not happen to me? Why I did not get the results of my action? There is no fairness. There is no this. There is no that. And then they will pass on their stress to their family, to their colleagues in the office, everywhere. This attitude is a very great stress reliever. You accept it because you can't do anything about it. Accept it. Carry on with your life. Again, that's not an attitude of resignation. It is not that, okay, nothing is possible for me. I'm a useless person. Not that way. Accept it that there are some forces beyond me which are determining this. So let me accept it with Samatva Bhava, whether I succeed. At the same time, we must not become very elated. Oh, I have done this thing. It is because of me I have achieved all that. There are people who go around and saying, you know who I am, kind of thing. That is also not Samatva Bhava. Neither on the negative side, not on the positive side. So a balance. Whatever you get, accept it as prasada. Whether you are getting a spoon of tirtham, whether you are getting chundal, whether you are getting big bouquet of flowers taken from Bhagavan's feet in a temple, or you just get a tulasi leaf as prasada. Whatever you get, you take it with reverential attitude. Take it and say, thank you very much, Bhagavan. Today, this is one. Many people I have seen, they will go to the temple, the Puliyodara is there, and they will have this curd rice and all that as prasada in many big temples. But when they go there, it's all finished. They will only get some tirtham only. So they should not feel, oh, Bhagavan is very ungrateful, he is very unjust. He has given prasada to everybody. When I come, he doesn't have prasada. But that attitude is samsari attitude, not a karma yoga attitude. Okay.
There's one thing which I've seen. When you accept a situation, or you accept a staff or the boss as what is, and compose yourself, you are able to find your way out of an impasse.
Absolutely. It focuses your mind on what you should do rather than, yeah, yes. Exactly. You're right. Yeah. That's why I said this, when the stress is removed from your mind, because stress, it acts as a big virus in our mind. It does not allow us for the mind to actually think about solution, think about all. So the karma yoga is a very great stress reliever, which makes you focus your mind on the spiritual path.
Yes.
So that is what it is. So
Thank
any
you.
questions? Any questions on free will versus destiny? If there are any residuary questions, I can answer them now.
See,
I will not do this topic again.
No. It's a very difficult thing. It's a very difficult topic in sense. When you are doing well, it's your destiny. And I did it, and so I did well. The moment one slide comes, hey, this is something not prescribed for me. It was somebody else's. So
Exactly.
it's a constant fight.
It's a very easy escape route. That is it. So anyhow, that we will see that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Any other questions relating to not the free will destiny part, but the class, anything, karma yoga? If nothing is there, then we can close the class today.
I think
See
we have
next
just begun. We have just begun a couple of more classes before we formulate the questions.
Yeah, certainly. Because these are all, because the purpose of this class is what? Go in detail. Because the entire Vedanta is nothing but reflection, thinking. You have to think deeply, Ram. And that is why you must keep your mind very free. All these, you can't explain all these things to some ordinary person. He will run away in the first 5 minutes. They won't understand at all. But if you are understanding something, that means you have got that interest in that, and so you will be provoked to think about all these things. So more material is required, which will be supplied to you, which I have received from my gurus. I will share it with you. Lot of material is there. In fact, I am not going into the details which Pujya Swamiji deals with this topic, these slokas in his commentary. If I do that, this course, this talks will not finish for the next 10 years. Very detailed. But I am filtering and taking what is relevant from our point of view. And some things, Paramarthananda Ji's I take, and then we share it with you. Yes, Hariji, you have raised your hand.
Guruji, we attend this Vedanta class. Is it because of our faith or because of free will?
No, not both. The fate has brought you to the Vedanta class. The fate brought 50 people to Bhagavad Gita class when we started these lectures. But only 16 or 17 or 20 of you have exercised your free will to continue in this class. Other people, 30 odd people, have exercised their free will to discontinue from this class. All of you were brought to this because of your past karmas. That is the role of the fate. This situation of an opportunity to attend the Bhagavad Gita class conducted by Acharya Raghu Ganapathy was presented to all the 50 people when they applied for registration for this class. After that, what happened? After that, you exercised your free will, whether to attend or not attend. You also exercise your free will when you are presented with an opportunity, whether to attend the Bhagavad Gita class or to do something else, go to some marriage or something. Again, you exercise your free will, whether to do this or you go there. So, free will is what is right now you are exercising in attending this class. But to start with, it was the fate which presented this opportunity to you. Situation to you. Is that clear? Still, you are
Is
not
the
convinced.
question relevant?
Question is very relevant, and you have given me an opportunity to explain it with a live example. Isn't it? Suppose I'll ask you a
I have
question.
been struggling with this question since, free will and fate.
Everybody.
And fate. Right?
See, as Sita Raman said, to put everything on destiny is a very easy escape route when I fail. And when I succeed, it is very easy to take, because of me, I did all these things that I have succeeded. Very easy.
Guruji, I will tell you a very live example which happened about just half an hour before this class.
Mm.
I was not sure whether I would be able to attend the class today, because in the community, I have a friend of mine who used to come for walking, this, that, and all, every day morning. Suddenly, he fell ill with what do you call it as motor MND, motor
Some neurological problem. Okay.
neuron, and for which there is no cure, and
Oh.
it is progressively. And this fellow, he used to walk with me. Today he is not able to even stand.
Yeah.
So we brought him the last 1 year. He has not come out of his house. Today I brought him with force. You come. And we were sitting and we were chatting. So he asked a very relevant question. I have been, he was Swami Parthasarath's student. I have done Vedanta studies for such a long time. I am a teetotaler. I am a vegetarian. I have not hurt anybody. I have done everything. And I, all these years, I have not done anything which would harm. I had taken care of to keep my body reasonably well. And why have I landed up in this position? What have I done? The same question.
He is talking everything as to what he did not do during this life, right? Did not drink, did not do and all that. Does he know what he did in his past lives?
No, that
problem
could be the
is-
reason why he has been leading reasonably a good life.
Correct. So
He's a very honest man.
Yeah, correct. That's all very good. But that does not mean that your past karmas, if they are very strong, will not affect you. In fact, I'll tell you the case of my father-in-law. My father-in-law he lived up to 90 years, right? But the last about 5-6 years of his life was totally miserable. He was a professor, head of the department chemistry in Pune University. It's a doctorate those days, a doctorate from some, I think, Presidency College in Chennai or something. I don't remember which college, but very well intellectually accomplished person. Very disciplined throughout his life. Very disciplined, simple living, he believed. Even though he could afford, he did not believe in having air conditioning in his house and all that in Pune, where it was used to now these days getting very hot, Even if people said, he said, no, I will quite okay. So lot of these qualities were there. What happened? Towards the end of his life, when he was about 80, 82 years, slowly Parkinson's disease started setting in. Initially, it was a little bit struggle. He could still manage. And mind you, he was a person, when he was working and all that, he will never even hire an auto rickshaw. Very rare. He used to walk all the place, I never used to go with him because he will make me also walk along with him to 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, which I could not do. And I told my wife that I will not go anywhere with your father. Because when I tell him take an auto rickshaw, he says, no, it's not very far, we will walk. So this was his condition. But when he got afflicted with this Parkinson's disease, when he was in his 80s, last 5-6 years of his life, so miserable that he could not even turn himself in the bed. Somebody has to turn him on that side, somebody has to turn him on this side. He could not get and sit up. He could not eat. His fingers will be shaking. He can't sign anything. See, this happens. Why? Past karmas. Those karmas, see, what happens is, when I say prarabdha karma, we must also understand that all the punya papas, which we are born with, the set, all of them don't mature at the same time. at different points in our life, from the date of death to the date of birth to date of death, at different points in time, different karmas will keep maturing, and we will get the results of those karmas at those points in time. And mostly I have seen that the way the law of karma acts, in most cases, I will not generalize, is that towards the end of the life only, all the bad karmas take shape. And initially, you have got good karmas running very well in your life and you are very happy. Towards the end, all these bad karmas of past, they suddenly, they come up. Again, we can't say why it happens. It's a part of the law of karma, which we know very little about. We don't know. We only know the correlation, law of karma, papa, the suffering, punya, happiness. That much only know. We don't know anything more about the law of karma. And it's good we don't know. Of course, to some extent, these people take their horoscope and take it to the astrologers and all that. But there also, I can tell you in my experience, maybe for the next 3-5 years, the astrologers may be able to give a very good indication. But if you ask the astrologer 10 years, 15 years hence what is going to happen, the astrologer is also as ignorant as all of us. In order to get a fees and satisfy you, he may give you some story, because he knows that after 20 years, you will not go find that astrologer to go and ask him, you said this, but it didn't happen. So that is there. To some extent, we can probably know a little bit, and that's why we go to astrologers. But even if we go to astrologers, he is only going to tell you that the sun will rise at 6 p.m. and set at 6 p.m. That's all. What is there in your horoscope? He cannot do anything to change it. Maybe in some cases, mild cases, he will give you some prayashchita karmas. Do this, do that, do this puja, and do this offering, do this dhanam, visit this pilgrimage place center and all that, which may mitigate, that effect of that karma to some extent. So there is no answer. The answer is very simple. It's a very strong prarabdha karma, which has now matured, and because of that, that person unfortunately has got this. What to do?
It's miserable,
It is. I know. You need not tell me how miserable it is, because I have witnessed this personally in the case of my father-in-law. So miserable. We could not keep him at home. The reason being that, because his entire body became totally like a dead wood. So if he has to be lifted from the bed and put on a chair, somebody has to lift him physically and put on a chair. It is just like lifting a dead body. From his side, there is no cooperation at all. So we have to literally lift him. And we used to engage some, these service providers, caregivers. 3 days they will run away, because by doing this 4-5 times in a day, they will get backache and back pain. So they will run away. And we could not do it. Both me and my wife, we could do it once or twice, but not continuously lifting up from the bed. And if he's lying down for some time, he will say, I want to now sit in the chair. So lift him from the bed, put him in the chair. After an hour in the chair, he will say, I want to now go to bed. Again, lift him from the chair and put him in the bed. It was miserable for us also, rather. Very difficult to keep him in home, because no caretaker will stay with us. They will all become sick. They will run away. Without telling us, they will run away. So we have seen, taking to the toilet, taking him to the toilet. And then, you can just imagine every aspect of one's life. If you are totally cannot do anything with, with that, how difficult it is for other people also. And this was a guy who never depended on anybody throughout his life. Till 80 years of his life, he did not depend on anybody for any of these things. He's a self-made man. And his entire last 10 years was totally dependent life. What will you say about that? So this is all there. We have to just accept it. That's why samatva bhava and all becomes very useful. They are very, very, I would say, he has to, instead of asking this question, he must keep praying. He must keep saying, okay, God, at least thank you. You have done this to me. Otherwise, you can see people worse than that. So all those things are there. I mean, especially I've seen, some the terminally ill cancer patients. They undergo
It
so
is
much of
so.
suffering.
We
Huh?
were 3 in the group now today, just now, and another young lady, must be around 32, 33 years old. She is a doctor. She is MBBS ophthalmology. She has done her MBA from ISB. Her husband is a
Doctor.
surgeon.
Mm.
She has got a disease by which she was
True.
a senior ophthalmologist in a very famous eye hospital. She has got a
Yeah.
disease by which she is now progressively losing her sight. She's almost
Sight. Again, see. So these are all things we just have
almost.
to observe, understand, draw lessons from that for our spiritual journey. That's how it is. That is why do maximum satkarmas in this life so that you earn more and more and more punya. Of course, the main should be aim for moksha in this life so that you don't have any other life at all. That is the word that parama purushartha. But if you are not able to do that, in the meanwhile, you keep on earning more and more punya. Just in case you get another life, at least that life will be not, like this. That is how we have to, live our life. Okay. If there are no more questions, we can close this class and then continue.
Raghuji, Hariji was referring to Parsardi. He used to tell, live by choice, not by chance.
Yeah, live by choice. That is what free will is about.
Any
guru, any acharya will clarify this, that chance is only something which is presenting us with situations. How we live that situation is by choice alone. That is how it is.
Another thing, you talked about your father-in-law. My aunt has been taking care of it for the last 15 years. Last 3-4 months, I cannot do it, so I have given her to, I've taken her to assisted care center.
Yeah.
She is 89, she cannot get up on her own. I cannot make it on my own here in the house.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. That's true. I mean, we can find so many cases, if we go and look around in our own family, everything will be going on very fine at the top of the world. Suddenly something will happen, and then that is the beginning of the end. This happens. And as I said, I don't know the reason, but this always happens toward the end of one's life, not the beginning. Beginning for some people, it happens as the bond with certain, as I said, disabilities and all. But many of them are able to overcome those disabilities using their free will by living by choice, as you said. Okay, good. Thank you very much. So we'll meet next Saturday. That will be the last class from next Saturday. Will be the last class from US. I'm saying all these things with a lot of reservation because I don't know what is going to happen. So many things I announced, but I said this class we are not supposed to have, but then we had it to have this class. I was supposed to be attending Maharudram. I could not go to Canada. So all those things, So hopefully, because I'm flying on next Monday, not this Monday, next Monday. So next Saturday, Sunday class will be last from US. Then we'll continue from India then. Okay. Hari Om. Thank you. Thank you very much.